The Amazon rainforest is one of the least understood places on Earth. It covers a huge part of South America. It contains millions of species. It holds one of the largest river systems on the planet, and large areas are still difficult to access, even today. For a long time, the Amazon was described as untouched wilderness, but recent research shows a different picture. The forest hides ancient settlements, human-made soils, geometric earthworks, isolated communities, rare animals, and archaeological sites that appear only when rivers dry. This is not mythology. These are real discoveries, and many of them are changing what scientists thought they knew about the Amazon. In 2023, a severe drought hit the Brazilian Amazon. One of the main tributaries of the Amazon reached extremely low levels near Manaus. As the water dropped, ancient carvings appeared on the rocks at a site called Ponto das Lajes. The carvings show human faces, animals, and other figures. Archaeologists estimate that some of them may be between 1,000 and 2,000 years old. For most of the time, these carvings are underwater. They only become visible during extreme drought. The site had been seen before, especially during a drought in 2010. But in 2023, the river dropped enough to expose more details. This is important because it shows that people were living, marking, and using river landscapes in the Amazon long before European contact. The carvings were not random scratches, they were made deliberately on a rocky point near one of the most important river junctions in the region. The exact meaning is still unclear. They may have had a symbolic, ritual, or territorial role. What matters is the fact itself. Hidden under the water, near Manaus, there are ancient human faces carved into stone, and they are only visible when the river falls. Across parts of the Amazon, researchers have found large geometric structures built into the ground. They include circles, squares, straight lines, ditches, and raised areas. Many of these are known as geoglyphs. Some were discovered after deforestation exposed the ground. Others were identified with aerial photography and LiDAR. They are especially well known in the Brazilian state of Acre. These structures show that ancient Amazonian groups were able to organize large construction projects. They moved soil, they planned shapes, they created spaces that were visible from above. Many of these earthworks were not used as houses. Researchers often interpret them as ceremonial sites, meeting places, or parts of larger cultural landscapes. Their exact function is still debated, but the key fact is clear. Ancient people were modifying the Amazonian landscape on a large scale. The forest was not simply empty, it was shaped by human activity. These geometric earthworks are some of the clearest evidence for that. Not all Amazon mysteries are archaeological, some are biological. One example is the short-eared dog, also called the ghost dog of the Amazon. It is a wild canid that lives in dense rainforest. It has short ears, a long body, a bushy tail, and partially webbed feet. For a long time, scientists knew very little about it because it is extremely difficult to observe. It avoids people. It moves through dense forest. It is rarely seen directly. A recent study used more than 2 decades of camera trap data from Bolivia and Peru. Researchers documented 594 photographic events of the short-eared dog between 2001 and 2024. That is one of the largest data sets ever collected for this species. The study suggests that the animal may be more widespread in some protected areas than previously believed, but it is still rare and poorly understood. Most records came from protected forests and indigenous territories. This is important because it shows that large parts of the Amazon still contain species whose basic behavior, population size, and ecology are not fully known. The short-eared dog is not a monster. It is not a legend. It is a real animal that science is only beginning to understand properly, and it proves that the Amazon still holds living mysteries, not only ancient ones. Many natural soils in the Amazon are poor in nutrients. Heavy rainfall washes nutrients away. This makes long-term farming difficult in many areas. But across the Amazon, researchers have found patches of extremely fertile dark soil. This soil is called terra preta, or Amazonian dark earth. It contains charcoal, pottery fragments, bones, organic waste, and high concentrations of nutrients. For years, scientists debated whether terra preta formed by accident around settlements or whether people created it intentionally. A 2023 study in Science Advances supported the idea that indigenous communities intentionally created and managed dark earth soils. The researchers compared ancient dark earth with modern indigenous soil practices. They found similarities in composition and location. The conclusion was clear. Ancient Amazonians were not only using the forest, they were improving the soil. This matters because terra preta may have allowed larger and more stable populations to live in areas where natural soil was weak. It also shows advanced ecological knowledge. Ancient Amazonian communities understood how to create fertile soil using organic waste, charcoal, and long term land management. Some of these soils remain fertile after hundreds of years. That makes terra preta one of the most impressive ancient technologies in the Amazon, a soil technology. In 2024, researchers published one of the most important Amazonian archaeological discoveries in recent years. Using LiDAR, they mapped ancient settlements in Ecuador's Upano Valley. These settlements are around 2,500 years old. The scan revealed platforms, roads, plazas, agricultural fields, and connected residential areas. This was not a single isolated village. It was a network of settlements. Some roads were straight and extended for long distances. Some platforms were arranged in organized patterns. The landscape showed planning and long-term occupation. The Associated Press reported that the settlements were occupied by the Upano people between roughly 500 BC and 600 AD. The site may have supported at least 10,000 people, possibly more. This discovery is important because it challenges the old idea that the Amazon could not support large, organized societies. The Upano Valley was not a stone city like those in Mesoamerica. It was an earth-built urban landscape. Because it was made from soil, platforms, roads, and fields, the forest eventually covered it. From the ground, much of it is almost impossible to see. From the air, with lasers, the shape becomes visible. This is one of the clearest examples of how much history can be hidden beneath the canopy. The Amazon is also home to some of the last uncontacted indigenous peoples on Earth. Brazil's Amazon has more uncontacted indigenous groups than anywhere else in the world. Survival International cites Brazil's Indigenous Affairs Agency, FUNAI, and says there are thought to be at least 100 uncontacted groups in the Brazilian rainforest. Some groups are known from aerial images. Others are known from shelters, gardens, tools, footprints, or reports from neighboring indigenous communities. Their exact numbers are uncertain. Their languages, movements, and histories are often unknown to outsiders. This subject should not be treated like a fantasy mystery. These are real people. Many avoid contact because contact has often brought disease, violence, land invasion, and death. For them, isolation is not ignorance, it is protection. The mystery is not whether they exist. The mystery is how many groups remain, how long they have lived separately, and how much knowledge about the forest they still preserve. They may hold information about plants, animals, rivers, seasons, and survival systems that modern science has never documented. In the most connected period in human history, the Amazon still contains communities that live almost entirely outside the global system. In 2023, a study published in Science estimated that more than 10,000 pre-Columbian earthworks may still be hidden across Amazonia. Researchers used known archaeological sites, LiDAR data, and environmental models. They looked at where already known structures are located. Then they predicted where similar structures may still exist under the forest. The result was a major shift in perspective. Only a small fraction of the Amazon has been scanned in detail with LiDAR. Even so, researchers have already found earthworks, mounds, roads, ditches, and other traces of human activity. The study suggests that thousands more could still be covered by vegetation. This does not mean every part of the Amazon was urbanized, but it does mean that ancient human presence was probably much larger than previously believed. The important point is this. The Amazon may contain thousands of archaeological sites that are still invisible from the ground. They are not buried under sand like in Egypt. They are hidden under trees. The Amazon is not mysterious because it is empty. It is mysterious because it is layered. A forest above, rivers below, ancient soil underfoot, and traces of human life hidden between them. Modern technology is not creating these mysteries. It is only making them visible. LiDAR, satellites, droughts, and camera traps are revealing a version of the Amazon that was always there. A place shaped by nature, but also by people. And after centuries of being described as untouched wilderness, the Amazon is becoming something much more complex. Not a blank space on the map, but one of the largest unfinished chapters in human history.